We've been covering affordable housing issues in the greater Charlotte area for years, but one woman is pushing for change after watching the issue become a bigger problem for decades. WCNC Charlotte's Kia Murray has the details.
Charlotte looked a bit different for a young Helen Kirk.
When I was small, there was a lot of segregation. I didn't realize it because my family kind of hid me from it. You couldn't go downtown and eat. Separate bathrooms for black and white.
Now she's 94 years old. She's lived in West Charlotte for decades. It's an area where conversations of real estate and development haven't always included people like Kirk.
We lived over near Oaklawn Avenue. They bought all of that because they were going to build I-77. So that meant that we had to move. We were displaced that way. And when we left there, we came here.
Here, in the shadows of Charlotte's growing skyline, where home values have soared. And it's under this very skyline where banks and federal government redlined Kirk's quaint home.
There's the wedge of wealth going southward. Here's the crescent of much less wealth across the middle of the county.
It's a shape that Charlotteans find familiar.
Redlining is just one of a number of policy decisions that were made throughout the 20th century that helped some people and didn't help other people.
Tom Hanchett is a historian. For decades, he's taken deep dives into issues impacting Charlotte as a fast-growing metro, specifically those issues that surround both racial and economic segregation.
I'll give you an example. When I found the redlining map, Dilworth Road was green and blue. That was high quality, good for mortgage lending. Much of the rest of the neighborhood was blue or yellow. Be cautious banks. And then when you got to South Boulevard, that area was solidly yellow. Banks probably don't want to loan for homeowners near South Boulevard.
It's why we took a closer look at those redlining maps from decades ago, dating all the way back to about 1937. We were hoping that that kind of research could explain what we're seeing today. These modern high-rises that are sharing the same block as homes that were clearly built decades ago. It's an image that's far too common right here under the Queen City skyline. These are three maps of the Charlotte area. The first is a redlining map from the 1930s. That's where federal government decided those red and yellow sections, which were home to black and brown neighborhoods, were too risky to invest in. It's followed by a more current map. The dark orange shows where people are at the highest risk for losing their homes. And finally, we have a third map. The dark green is where the least amount of people own their homes. But take a look at your screen. The areas outlined right now are all the same location, where years ago, federal government considered predominantly black and Hispanic neighborhoods as undesirable. It pushed investors and funding to white neighborhoods instead. And that's where policy stepped in. The Fair Housing Act made race-based redlining illegal, and community reinvestment directed banks to invest in all areas of a community. But those pieces of policy are decades old. It's why Hanchett believes there are some solutions that could work now.
Some kind of policy group, some unit of government who takes on that task, who takes ownership of it, could be a powerfully good thing.
A powerfully good thing that could keep Miss Kirk in her neighborhood and many others like her.
I hope so. I hope so.
Reporting for WCNC Charlotte, I'm Kia Murray.